This life is a long ride, strife, full of wisdom, truth, and full of lies. I found love a couple times. It was nice. Had a couple trusted friends, and some without this life is a long ride, full of strife. The test of a man's I'm survived. I had thoughts of suicide. And family life, a coward 1,000 times. Okay, this ain't my first time in this hemisphere. Lord knows I've been here. I fucked up before, so I understand my condition here. Lord knows I lived yourself, know my parents' efforts were sincere. Became a veteran, so remember, mountains in this biosphere. Nana on her deathbed, telling me I'm tired here. At the age of 4, that was just a year. Now I'm at 34, showing signs for spirit here. Too young to think of risk beyond the stratosphere. We can't on the love and the trust, it should never heal. Damage people, watch your step in this minefield. Let's believe I tell you these things are real. Your flesh knows yourself, being pray for Lord to interfere. God knows I've been going through shit, even with all I found lessons in it. But my soul has never found peace with every step. I gain strength, so I swear I'll never quit. Life is a long ride, strife, full of wisdom, truth, and times. A couple trusted friends and some without this life is a long ride, full of strife. The test of a man I survived. I had thoughts of suicide and family life. A coward 1,000 times. Choose your life. The test of a man is the grit that he daily shows. The way he gets up on his feet, it tastes like bumps and blows. In the furnace of affliction, you can't be no holy. Character of a man ain't shown. Then things are good when things are low. Lord knows I didn't walk through the fire. Into the coals, hate a couple demons try to take my soul. Why leave the footprints in the sand as I stroll? In this mission of ascension for this vessel get sold. Generational curses sometimes think they told. No man is a prophet in the land of his home, in a man's household. Oh, many folks family means well, but most times they pigeonhole. I pray the Father welcomes this prodigal son home. Just living out my life right in my wrongs. If I die tonight, no fear, my soul lives on. It's a long ride, strife, full of wisdom, truth, and full of lies. I found love a couple times. It was nice. Had a couple trusted friends and some without this life is a long ride, full of strife. The test of a man how survived. I had thoughts of suicide and family life. A coward 1,000 times. Choose your life. This life is a long ride.
All right. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. All right, it's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Hall, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? It is Monday, all right, which is the history breakdown class, where we get into the records, break them down line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, using external references to back up and vindicate the Bible, right? So this is a part two to last week's series dealing with the Popol Vuh, which is the sacred records of the Quiche Mayan people, in correlation to the Bible. Last week we did Genesis, the creation story. We're going to close it out dealing with the correlation between a man, between Samson and a man called Zipakana in the Popol Vuh. And also, we're going to get into a correlation of the story of Moses parting the Red Sea and what took place in the annals of the Kichi Quells, which is the Kichi Mayan people. They have a similar story of someone parting the sea and them being able to walk on dry land into salvation. All right. And if we have enough time to prevail, we're going to get into some external references and facts that validate the New Testament, also the story of Christ. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with the story of Samson. All right. So we're going to go to Judges chapter 16, verse 23. Just giving you a backstory. So um, where we're picking up in the story is it's on the latter part of the story. So this is after Samson has fought off the Philistines with a jawbone, after he's dealt with Delilah, and he's already captured. Like they blinded him, took his eyes from him, and this is right before he takes him out. All right. So we're picking up here to show correlation with the story of Zapakana in the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Quiche Mayan people. All right. So we're going to start at Judges chapter 16, verse 23. Yeshua, well, you got to go ahead and read it, brother.
Okay, everybody got?
Come on.
All right, this is Judges, book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 23. Then the Lord of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dragon their God.
Dagon.
Dagon, their God, to rejoice, for they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God had delivered unto our hand our enemy,
Mm-hmm.
and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. Verse 25. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry,
When their hearts were what?
when their hearts were merry,
Mm-hmm.
that they said, call for Samson.
All right. So this is the key part. All right, that we're gonna pause and we're gonna read up in the story of Zapakana. All right. So they were married, so they were having a big feast. They was big drinking, celebrating. That Samson is destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Or at least they thought Samson was destroyed. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to the Popol Vuh. Let's see other pages that I sent you. I think it starts at page 81. You sure?
I got you, sir.
All right, hold on. Let me get pull it up myself. All right. So before we start, just giving some history of like phonetics, right? So in Hebrew, right? So the word napak, all right, has to do with a blacksmith blowing, right? And then the word pak itself means a source to bring forth calamity, right? And when you put the za in front of a word, it exudes to make masculine. It makes the word masculine, right? Because the word za was formed, the letter za or zelef was formed from a sword, right? Also, it's used as a reference to a male phallus, right? Male's anatomy, all right. Also, the word uh, zala, you know what I'm saying? It's a reference to sexual intercourse, right? So, za, when it's put in front of a word, makes it masculine, all right? So, zapak in Hebrew, all right, is a male dealing with bringing forth calamity, which is the story of Zapakana, which is very interesting because it lines up just like the story of Samson a male figure, a hero that brings forth calamity upon his enemies. All right, so let's get into the story. This is page 81 in the Popol Vuh. You're going to start at where it says, and here are the deeds of YAHANNA. Hold on, let me pull it up on the screen for him.
Would that be the one you just sent me?
Yes, the ones I just sent you. Hold on, let me bring the screen up. Here we go. All right, so they can read along with us. Let me pull it up. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on, you sure? It's low. Okay, here we go. All right, go ahead.
Come on, sir. This is page 81 of the Popol Vuh. This is YAHANNA battling on the sword with bands of sky above.
Start at where it says, and here are the deeds of YAHANNA. It should be the one that has a white and black picture. You see it? Yeah. So start at where it says, and here are the deeds. It has a capital A.
And here are the deeds of YAHANNA, the first son.
YAHANNA.
Oh, YAHANNA.
Mm-hmm.
The first son of 7 Macau.
Mm-hmm.
I am the maker of mountains, says YAHANNA.
Now, what this is, why this is so relevant, right? Because Napak in Hebrew has to deal with forming or being a blacksmith, creating, right? So Pakana, which is a part of the word Zapakana, I'm sorry, Napak, Salakia, has to do with, forming, being a blacksmith, the blowing part of melting and molding the fire to get it up to heat, to create things, to fashion things. All right. So Zapakana was the creator. He formed the mountains and stuff like that in their lore, but it's really more dealing with the pillars as we get along in the story. Go ahead.
And this is YAHANNA bathing on the shore. Then the 400 boys passed by, dragging a log, a post from their hut. The 400 boys passed, the 400 boys were walking along, having cut a great tree for the lintel
Mm-hmm.
of their hut. And then YAHANNA went there. He arrived where the 400 boys were. What are you doing, boys?
All right. Okay, so below it's a figure of Zapakana. They show Zapakana as a mighty bear, right? Because of his strength, because he was able to move mountains. All right. Okay. Let me pull up the next page, page 82, so we can continue along. All right. So, all right. Go to page 82. Mm-hmm.
It's page 82. It's just this log. We cannot lift it up to carry. I'll carry it. Where does it go? What do you intend to use it for? It's just a lintel for our hut. Very well, he replied. And then he pulled it, or rather carried it, right on up the entrance of the hut of the 400 boys.
Mm-hmm.
You could just stay with us, boys. Do you have a mother and father? Not so, he replied. We'd like some help tomorrow in cutting another one Another one of our logs, a post for our hut. Good, he replied. After that, the 400 boys shared their thoughts about this boy. What should we do with him? We should kill him.
We should what?
We should kill him
Mm-hmm.
because what he does is no good. He lifted that log all by himself.
All right, so they're talking about it's not good for us to leave him alive because of his strength, because of how strong he is, right? Keep reading.
All by himself.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, he's to them, he's just a boy. So you got this boy with all of this strength, and in their mind, he's naive. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're able to kind of try and manipulate him. Kind of like how Samson was. Like Samson was naive and like, you know, playing games, you know, listening to his rib Delilah, you know what I'm saying, who ended up entrapping him. You understand? Keep reading.
Let's dig a big hole for him, and then we'll throw him down in the hole. We'll say to him, why are you spilling dirt in the hole? And when he's wedged down in the hole, we'll whamp a big log down behind him. Then he should die in the hole, said the 400 boys. And when they had dug a hole, one that went deep, they called for the YAHANNA.
Mm-hmm.
We're asking you, please, go on digging out the dirt. We can't go on, he was told. Very well, he replied. After that, he went down in the hole. Call out when enough dirt has been dug. When you're getting down deep, he was told. Yes, he replied. Then he began digging the hole, but the only hole he dug was for his own salvation.
Was for his what?
Own salvation.
Mm-hmm.
He realized that he was to be killed, so he dug a separate hole to one side. He dug a second hole for safety. How far is it? The 400 boys called down to him. I'm digging fast. When I call up to you, the digging will be finished, said Zapana. From down in the hole, but he's not digging at the bottom of the hole in his own grave. Rather, the hole he's digging is for our salvation, for his own salvation.
Mm-hmm.
After that, when Zapana called out, he had gone to safety in his own hole. Then he called out, come here, take the dirt to fill from the hole. It's been dug. I've really gone down deep. Can't you hear my call? As for your call, it's just echoes down here. It sounds to me as if you were on another level.
All right, let me pull up page 83. And it's going to bring up to the equal correlation of where we stopped off in the story of Samson. All right, let me zoom in. All right, go ahead.
Okay, page 83. 2 levels away, says Zapana. From his hole, he's hidden in there. He called out from down in the hole. Meanwhile, a big log is being dragged along by the boys. And then they drew the log down in the hole. Isn't he there? He doesn't speak. Let's keep on listening. He should cry out when he dies. Then they said among themselves, they're just whispering, and they've hidden themselves, each one of them, after throwing down the log. And then he did speak. Now he gave a single cry. He called out when the log fell to the bottom. Right on. He's been finished. Very good. We've done him in. He's dead.
Mm-hmm.
What if he had gone on with his deed, his works? He would have made himself first among us and taken our place.
So they were afraid. They were afraid that YAHANNA was going to end up with all of his strength. They were afraid that he was going to take over with all of his strength because he was so strong that he was going to rule over them. You understand? So they played the trickster with him, similar to what the Philistines did with Delilah and Samson. So they enticed Delilah, you know what I'm saying, to get Samson and tell the source of the strength of his power so they could take the power from him and subdue him, right? So here, these 400 boys or men subdued YAHANNA by saying, like, you're so strong, we need your strength to help us dig this hole, with the purpose and the ideal to slay him, just like they wanted to slay Samson. All right, keep reading.
A single cry he called out when the log fell at the bottom. Oh, so like
You were at right on. He's finished.
Come on, sir. He would have made himself first among us and taken our place.
Mm-hmm.
We, the 400 boys, they said now they enjoyed themselves. On to the making of our sweet drink.
On to the what?
Making of our sweet drink.
All right, so here we are in the story. We're basically in line with the story of Samson now. So we did all of that to recap to bring it to this point. All right. So back in, let's go back to Judges. I think you stopped Judges 16. I think you stopped at 25. Yeah, 25. All right, so let's go there.
Okay, this is the Judges chapter 16, verse 25. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry.
So they were having sweet drink, just like the 400 boys when they had subdued YAHANNA. All right, keep reading.
That they said, call for Samson.
Mm-hmm. So just like here, so they had called for YAHANNA, you know what I'm saying? But in this case, he didn't answer. They thought that he was dead. But in the story of Samson, in their mind, Samson's strength is dead, right? So in each case, it's the same thing in the correlation. So they're cheerful, they're celebrating because they have subdued their enemy. Keep reading.
Call for Samson that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house.
Mm-hmm.
And he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 26. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. Now the house was filled of men and women, and the Lord of the Philistines were there, and there were upon the roof about 300 men and women.
No, 3,000.
3,000, Salaki, sir. 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 28. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, Oh my God, remember me. I pray thee and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my two eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And Samson took hold of the middle pillars upon which the house stood in on, which it was borne up, up of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. Verse 30. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people where therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which which he slew in his life.
All right. So now let's go back to the story of Zapakana. All right, we're gonna pick up where we left off, where it says on the making of our sweet drink.
On our sweet drink.
3 days will pass.
3 days will pass, and 3 days let us drink to dedicate our hunt.
Our hut.
Our huts, like you say.
So not only did they think they killed him, but they built a hut on top of where they killed him at in that hole, and the pillar they used to slay him, they used to hold up the roof of the hut itself. Keep reading.
To dedicate our hut, we the 400 boys, they said, and tomorrow we'll see, and on the day after tomorrow we'll see whether or not ants come from the ground when he's stinking and rotting. After that, our hearts will be content when we drink our sweet drink. They said, but Zappanah was listening from the hole when the boys specified slightly the day after tomorrow. And on the second day, when the ants collected, they were running, swarming, having taken their pickings under the log. They were everywhere, carrying hair in their mouth and carrying the nails of Zappanah. When the boy saw this, he's finished. That trickster. Look here, how the ants have stripped him, how they swarm everywhere. They carry hair in their mouth, and his nails, you can see. We've done it. They said amongst themselves. But this Zappanah is still alive. He just cut the hair off his head and chewed off his nails to give them to the ants. And so the 400 boys thought he had died. After that, their sweet drink was ready on the third day, and then all that sweet drink was ready on the third day, and all the boys got drunk. And once they were drunk, all 400 of those boys, they weren't feeling a thing.
You know what I'm saying? Them boys was chocolate wasted. Keep reading.
After that, the hut was brought down on top of them by Zappanah. Okay, so after that, what happened? The hut was brought down on them by Zappanah.
So after that, that same pillar that they used to hold up their hut, it was brought down by Zapakana. Keep reading.
All of them were completely flattened. Not even one or two were saved from Slackers. It's cut out, I can't see that.
Just scroll down.
No, I'm talking about on mine.
Oh, okay. It says not even one or two of them were saved from among the 400 boys. They were killed by Zapakana, the son of Seven Makal. Such was the death of those 400 boys. You understand? So, all right. So let's go back to. All right. So in the story, all right, you have a hero. You understand? The hero is feared because of his strength, right? And they use some type of trickery to subdue the hero in the story. In the Bible is Samson, and the Popol is the Pakana, all right? So they trick Samson to lose his strength. You understand? They trick Zapakana to use his strength to get him in a hole, right? And they were going to impale him with the pole. So, and they got Samson to lose his strength by dealing with Delilah to cut his hair, and then they impaled his eyes and took his eyes from him, right? And then they had him basically in jail. You know what I'm saying? Just like Zapagana was in jail at the bottom of this hole because he dug a hole to the side and that pillar was blocking him in. You understand? If he would have just been straight down, that pillar they dropped that pillar they dropped down in there would have crushed him, would have killed him, right? So when they were drinking and partying, just like how the Philistines were drinking and partying to subdue, because they subdued Samson, and in this case, the 400 boys, they subdued Zapakana. During that time, both of them used their strength to bring down the house upon their adversaries to kill their enemies. You understand? So the Popol Vuh has a similar story of a hero with great strength that takes down mass enemies just like Samson did. All right. So now we're going to pull a similar story how they parted the Red Sea. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Exodus chapter 14, verse 9. This is when Pharaoh has chased the children of Israel to the edge of the Red Sea. Let me get there with you. Exodus 14 and 9. All right, when you got to go ahead and read it.
Okay, it's Exodus chapter 9, Exodus chapter 14, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
But the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea beside
Beside Pi Haroth.
before Baal
Baal-Zephon.
Mm-hmm. Verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. Verse 11. And they said to Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Wherefore hast thou dealt us with slightly? Wherefore thou hast dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 12. It is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians. For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. Verse 14. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Verse 15. And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. But if thou
No, it says, but
lift,
yeah.
but lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea.
Pause right there. All right. So this is where we're going to pause in the story of Moses. All right. So now we're going to go into the annals of the Kichikels. All right, which is the Kichi Mayan people. This is directly from their records in the book. This is direct translation. On the right side of a page, you'll have the words written in Mayan, and on the left side of the page, you have it translated in English. So we're going to read from the English side of the page, from the now to the Kichi Kells. All right. So you're going to start. It's the white page with the green highlighter. You see it?
Yes, sir.
All right. It says it's gonna start. Then we arrived at the seacoast. You got it, bro. All right, that's it. All right, go ahead. Yeshua.
15. Then we arrived at the seacoast. They were gathered together, the warriors.
There were gathered together.
There together were gathered together the warriors of all the 7 villages of the sea. A great number perished, devoured by sorrow. There is no means of passing, nor is it told of anyone who has passed the sea, said all the warriors of the 7 villages.
All right, so here we are, just like in the story of Moses. All right, so you have the warriors. All right, so the host of Israel is what? An army. All right, so when Moses brought out the children of Israel, like in the story, it says he brought out, the host of Israel. So a host is an army. All right. So they came to the coast of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel were complaining to Moses. All right. Just like in this story of the Kichikels, all right, the Kichi Mayan people, they're saying to their leader, you know what I'm saying, who can, you know what I'm saying, who will find, saying that no one had ever crossed the sea before, and how are we to pass it? All right, keep reading.
Who will find means to pass the sea? And thee alone, my brother, and thee alone have we hope, said they all. They said to them, you may go on, you may be first. Who will find the means of crossing while we are here? All of us spoke thus. And then all of them said, have pity on us, our brother, since we are all stretched on the shore of the ocean without seeing our hills or plains.
So basically, just like the children of Israel, have you brought us out here to die? We all out here stressed on the shore, far away from our lands, and not knowing these hills and valleys. You know what I'm saying? Complaining just like the children of Israel complaining when they got to the edge of the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army is at their back. Keep reading.
As soon as we hear asleep, we are comforted. We, the 2 oldest sons, we, the chiefs and guides of the warriors of the 7 villages, oh my brother, would that we have passed and could see the burdens given us by our mother and fathers, oh my brother. So they spoke. At the time, the Quiche nation has increased.
All right, so at this time, the Quiche Mayan people had increased. So it was a great number of them at the shore of the sea, just like in the story when the children of Israel were amongst the Egyptians. They had increased in number. You understand? So the Egyptians felt like they were burdened, which was also why they had that rule to start killing the firstborn males of the children of Israel. You understand? Because they had greatly increased in number, and they thought that they kept increasing, that they would overtake the Egyptians. All right. So you see in the parallelism. Go ahead.
I know there's two people talking too.
Right. So it's really a group talking to a person. So it's a group of people talking to a singular person who they're going to talk about here in a second. All right, keep reading.
Our ancestors.
Are what?
Our ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Gagavich.
Gagavich.
Mm-hmm.
And
Zekateku.
Zekateku said, we said to them, we suffer also our brother. We do not live stretched out on the shore of the ocean where we cannot see our mountains, where they are, as you say, O you warriors, you people of the seven villages, we shall pass over at once.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they sound almost exactly like the children of Israel. You understand? So let's go back to where they was talking. So and they said to Moses, Exodus chapter 14, verse 11, they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Therefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out from Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. All right. So they're scared because they didn't left what so that's similar to like right now in America, right? So we here in America, so we got our brothers and sisters that are in the truth, right? We have forsaken the world and the lust of the world to follow the Most High. So we know what it's like to do a lot with a little because we have lack, right? Versus if the nation fell, or if the Lord told Commander Yohanan, look, round all these niggas, Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, Native Americans up and say, look, we out of here. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna meet in Wyoming. Niggas gonna be like, wait. So I'ma leave my nice loft in Chicago to be out in the wilderness in Wyoming. Nigga, you must be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'ma leave my central air, my air conditioning, you know what I'm saying? My even though it's tap, it's running water. So I'm gonna leave this clean water and flushable toilets, you know what I'm saying, to digging holes and dumping and taking dumps in holes, you know what I'm saying, and having to drink out of a river and out here in the heat in Wyoming, nigga, you must be out your mind. Nigga, please. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly how it would be now. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading. All right, so keep reading in the Kichi Kales. So the Kichi Nation had increased.
Had increased our ancestors.
You go ahead and reread it, bro. It's fine.
Increase or to be left off.
Just start where it says, we said to them.
We said to them, we suffer also our brother. We do not live stretched out on the shore of the ocean, where we cannot see our mountains, where they are, as you say, O you warriors, you people of the seven villages.
Mm-hmm.
We shall pass over at once. Thus we spoke, and soon all of them rejoiced.
Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
Now there was a red tree, our staff.
Hey, hold on. So it says there was a red tree, our staff. Now remember, when Moses was talking to the people, all right, the Lord had said to him, all right, so let's see, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so Moses said to people, the Lord shall. So it's just like what the brother said at the end, right? So it says, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. All right. Similar to what's said right here at the end of the Kichikels. All right. We shall pass it once, thus he spoke, and soon all of them will rejoice. And then it says, verse 15 in Exodus, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they may go forward, but lift up thy rod and stretch thine hand over the sea. So Moses kept a staff with him. You understand? All right. So going back to the Kichikels, all right. So now there was a red tree, our staff, a staff that they kept from their ancestors. All right. So the Mayans kept a staff from their ancestors. Let's find out what this staff does. Keep reading.
Which we had taken in passing from the gate of Tulan.
So they had used this staff before to pass through the gate of Tulan. So in Tulan, which is like Tulum, right? Tulum, where in Mexico, right? That is an area of vast water. Okay. So in order to get to Tulum is a coastal region by water. So they said they used this to get to that area before. So how'd they get there? On dry land. They used the same staff to get there. You know what I'm saying? Just like it said in Second Esdras, they left, you know what I'm saying, from the land where they did not keep the custom of their forefathers, and they journeyed by way of a year and a half to a land called Asaroth, all right, which is just foreign land, all right, which is a man that no man had known or had dwelt in, all right. Keep reading.
And therefore, we are called the Kotichi,
The Kichikel.
the Kichikel people. Oh, our sons said,
Gagavits and Zekutika.
the root of this, our staff, was pushed into the sea, the sand of the sea, and stood the sea,
and soon the sea
was separated from the sand, and for this the Red Sea, the Red Tree served, which we bought from
yeah.
From Tulan. Soon the sand was a line, and we passed out.
So it literally happened the exact same way that it happened in the Bible. So the Mayans brought a red staff with them from their ancestors that had been passed down, that was used for them to get to the gates of Tulan, right? And then they're using the same staff to get away from their enemies now. You understand? And the staff was pressed into the sand just like Moses does. So we're going to pause right here. We're going to go back to the story of Moses in Exodus 14. All right. All right. Yeah, 17. Go to verse 17.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 17. And I behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow.
Yeah, start at 16, bro.
This is verse 16. But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I will behold, and I behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. And I will get thee honor upon Pharaoh and upon his hosts, upon his chariots, and upon his horses. Verse 18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten the honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariot, and upon his horsemen. Verse 19. And the angel of the Most High, which went before the camp of Israel, were moved and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went went before their face and stood behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness unto them, darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by the strong east wind, and that the night, and made the sea dry land, and water
And
were
the waters
divided.
were divided. Keep reading.
Verse 20. And the children of Israel went in the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them, and their right hand and on their left. Verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked upon the host of the Egyptians through the pillars of fire, and all in the cloud troubled the host of the Egyptians. Verse 25. He took off their chariot wheels that they graved them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians."
Mm-hmm. 26.
Verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon his chariots and upon his horses." Verse 27. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength. When the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Verse 28. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. Verse 29. But the children of Israel walked upon the dry land in the midst of the sea, and the water were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left.
All right. So now let's go back to the nouns of the Kichikels. All right. And start back where you said the root of this staff was pushed into the sand of the sea.
The root of this staff, our staff was pushed into the sea of
the sand of the sea. Mm-hmm.
And soon the sea was separated from the sand. And for this the red tree served, which we bought from Sunan. Soon the sand was as a line, and we passed out it. It became wide above the sea and below the sea. Then all rejoiced when they saw sand in the sea, and many counseled together. There indeed is our hope. We must gather together on these first lands, they said. Here only we can arrange ourselves since leaving Tulan.
All right, we're gonna go to the next page.
Page 81?
Yeah, the top part. Hold on, let me pull it up on the screen for him. All right, yep. Go ahead and read that part 17.
They rushed forth and passed across the sand and following one another, we came to the shore of the sea, and we arrived at the edge of the water, Then all the 7 villages began to fear, and all the warriors spoke, and then the seven tribes spoke. Do you not see our burdens? Yet it is not long since we lifted up our faces with you, ye rulers, ye warriors. Did we not come?
Keep reading. You can finish it up to where it's the end of the sentence.
Okay. Okay.
Did we not come?
Did we not come from the sun rising with you that we might seek our hills and valleys?
Keep reading.
Have you not seen the burdens, the green feathers, the gardens? So spake the seven tribes.
All right, so we're gonna stop right there. So as you can see, like they are just like the children of Israel. All right. So the children of Israel, like as soon as they crossed the Red Sea, they just saw a miracle of God that God had them. So they got on the other side, they started complaining. You know what I'm saying? So it went from have you brought us here to die to now, okay, so we saved now, but now we dying of hunger. We hungry, we thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So moving down, so Moses ended up having manna rain down from heaven. You know what I'm saying? They got tired of eating manna. So Moses complained, brought the complaint to God. So the Lord brought quails. You know what I'm saying? To the point he was so much quail that he said the quail was coming out of their nostrils. The Lord gave them so much quail so they couldn't eat quail no more. You understand? Because they just kept complaining. And it's just like black Hispanics and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? You can't please a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So hold on, let me go back. All right. Okay. All right. So now what we're gonna do is he's gonna bring up some artifacts. Well, not really artifacts, more like statements um that vent some external records that vindicate not only the story of Jesus, but the New Testament, right? Because we got Old Testament Hebrews that says that the New Testament ain't real, that it's made up, Jesus never existed. So we're gonna pull up some factual documents that are accredited as far as used as factual and credible external references that not only validate the New Testament, but it also validates in some way, shape, form, or fashion the person that we know as Yahushua Mashiach, that the world knows as Jesus Christ. All right. Hey, Ron, go check the door. All right, no sweat. All right, let me pull this up for you guys. Boom. All right, and this is from history.com. Um, uh, the history of Flavius Josephus wrote on one of the earliest non-biblical accounts of Jesus. All right, let me bring that up on the screen for you guys. Yashar, you got it? All right, no sweat. Hold on. Let me pull it up on there. All right, it's up there. Go ahead.
The first century Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, who accordingly to Urim is far and away our best source of information about first century Palestine.
Palestine.
Palestine, like twice mentioning Jesus in Jewish
Antiquities.
antiquities, his massive 20-volume history of the Jewish people that was written around 93 AD. So to have been born a few years after the
Crucifixion.
crucifixion of Jesus around 37 AD, Josephus was a well-connected
aristocrat
and military leader in Palestine who served as a commander in that
in Galilee.
Galilee during the first Jewish revolt against Rome during 66 and 70 A.D. Although Josephus was not a follower of Jesus, he was around when the early church was getting started, so he knew people who had seen and heard Jesus. What the Bible says to that?
My Kaitikut says.
Is that all on the page?
Yeah, it's all on that page. You can go to the next one. Let me pull it up. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Yep, where it says against
Rome between 66 and 70 A.D. Although Josephus was not a follower of Christ or of Jesus, he was around when the early church was getting started. So it's just the same what I read.
Yeah. You can start in one passage of Jewish antiquities.
In one passage of Jewish antiquities that recount an unlawful execution, Josephus identified the victim James as the brother of the Jew of Jesus, who is called Messiah.
All right. So in this account in Josephus in the Jewish antiquities, not only did it certify the time and era, but it speaks of James and names him as Jesus's brother. So if James exists, that means who gotta exist? Jesus. All right, keep reading.
As the brother of Jesus, who is called Messiah, while few scholars doubt the short accounts, the account of
Authenticity.
Says
my kutikut.
More debate surrounds Josephus' lengthier passage about Jesus, known as the
Testimonium of Flavinum.
Which describes a man who did surprising deeds.
A man that did what deeds?
Surprising deeds. And was condemned to be crucified by Pilate. Makutika agrees with most scholars that Christian scribes modified portions of the passage, but did not insert it wholesale into the text.
All right. So you have someone that is not a follower of Christ. He's an Orthodox Jew, right? He did not believe in Jesus, right? Yet he accounts that James' brother was there at the crucifixion. James, Christ's brother, was there at the crucifixion, right? And not only that, all right, it said that he did surprising deeds, right? What are these surprising deeds? Could they be miracles? Possibly, all right? So let's pull another account. All right. Also, from history.com. This is based off the History Channel. They're pulling like different excerpts from different references. And that's the one that starts that has like the picture of like the head. All right, well, you got to go ahead and read it.
Technically, connects Jesus to his execution by Pilate. Another account of Jesus appears in animals.
Hold on, let me pull up the other larger one so they can just continue reading down with you.
Right, that thing just cut my screen to get the bottom
of this thing. No sweat. Just go to the next page so you can just keep reading all the way down.
Oh, okay.
It has the whole thing. Yep. Another account of Jesus appears.
All right. Annals of Imperial Rome.
So here we have another external source of the Annals of the Imperial Rome that is going to give you another account of Jesus existing on the face of the earth. Go ahead.
A first century history of Rome Empire, written around 116 AD by the Rome senator and historian Tacitus,
Mm-hmm.
in chronicling the burning of Rome in 64 AD. Tacitus mentioned that Emperor Nero falsely blamed the
So
first.
stop right there. Does anybody know who Nero is and what he's famous for? Okay. Does anybody remember a I'm gonna be giving it away. Does anybody remember a CD software called Nero back in the day to make CDs? All right. When you would make a CD of something, what would it be called? You doing what to a CD? You doing what to a CD? You burning the CD. All right. The first one of the first softwares they came out to burn CDs was called Nero. All right. The reason why they use this name because Nero was made famous for lynching Israelites. He would literally lynch Israelites and use them as lanterns to light his gardens at night. You know what I'm saying? Which is hence the name Nero for burning CDs, right? They thought it was funny, you know. Oh man, we're burning, CDs of people's music, like we're stealing music. So we'll call it Nero. You know what I'm saying? We're ripping them off. We're killing the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So since we're burning it, let's call it Nero. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. Keep reading.
Falsely blamed the persons commonly called Christians who were hated for their
Immorties.
immortality. Christus, the founder of the name, was put to death by Pontius Pilate, uh, procurate of Judea in the reign of Titus.
Mm-hmm.
As a Roman historian.
Oh, the reign of Tiberius.
Tiberius.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the famous rulers of Rome. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So not only did it certify that the founder of the name of the commonly called Christians was executed and put to death by Pontius. All right, Pilate, who is a procurator, which is a title, a head over Judea. You understand? He was. It was. They give you a time frame. It was under the reign of Tiberius. All right, keep reading.
As a Roman historian, Tacitus did not have any Christian
Biases.
biases in his discussions of the persecution of Christians. And Nero says,
Yearman. Mm-hmm.
Just about everything he says coincides from a completely different point of view by the Roman author, disdainful of Christian
And there.
in their superstition with what the New Testament itself says.
All right. I think I sent you
As a Roman historian.
Yeah, let me make sure I got it on the computer real quick. Well, I do not. But what we can do is, don't bear with me real quick. We'll just go ahead and read it. It's fine. It's not a lot left.
As a Roman historian, Tacitus did not have any.
Go ahead.
The New Testament itself says it it says, it itself says, Jesus was executed by the governor of Judea, Pontius Pilate, for crimes against the state, and a religious movement of his followers sprang up in his wake. When Tacitus wrote history, if he considered the information not entirely reliable, he normally wrote some indication of that for his readers. Um, Acuticus says in vouching for the historical value of the passage, there is no such indication of potential error in the passage that mentions Christus.
Yeah, Christus. All right, so that's Latin term for Christ. All right, so he's saying that uh this person had no reason, because first off he had disdain for the Christians. He hated them. You understand? So and he was known for it in keeping his records. If something was hearsay that he couldn't validate or back up, that he would notate it in his records, right? Which there was no notation of that in the records whatsoever, right? So we have a Jewish reference from Josephus Flavius, right, from his records, and then we have a non-biased, non-Christian record from the actual Roman Empire under the reign of Tiberius from Tacticus. All right. So before I move on to a scripture breakdown, did anybody have any questions like on any Bible verses or anything like that they wanted to get broke down? Anybody? All right, no sweat. All right, so for the last part, we're gonna go to 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So let's deal with something that we're going to go over next week, dealing with history, ethnos versus Helen. Hey, wrong. Get the Bible dictionary out of the cam bag. And I want you to pull the definition of the word Helen for me, if you could. All right. So does anybody these are two Greek terms, all right? Does anybody know what the term ethnos and the term Helen is? What is ethnos? Well, these are two common terms that matter of fact, it's right here, Ron. I'm sorry, Salaki, brother. It's right here in front of me. I'm tripping. These are two terms that, well, ethnos is a term that Christians like to use to say that God loved everybody, right? Because ethnos means like Gentiles, right? So we're dealing with the term Gentiles. So when you look up the term Gentile in the New Testament, it's either going to say one or two words. It's either going to say ethnos or it's going to say Helen, right? Normally the majority percentage of it is Helen, right? Which he's about to read the definition of. All right, when you got to go ahead and read it. That's it. Mm-hmm.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary definition for Hellenists: Jews who made Greek their tongue.
Who?
Jews who made Greek their tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices.
All right. So a Hellenist, right, is a Jew that made Greek their tongue. Now I want you to go look up Greek. It should be Greek or Grecian. I think it's Greek. All right. So there's a difference between a Greek and a Grecian, right? He's about to tell you the difference. You got it?
Okay, let's see Greece. Let's see Greek language and Greek words.
Try Greece. Try where it says where it says Greece. Read the first part of it.
Greece is Greece, the home of the Hellenists.
There you go. Bam.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. The definition of Greece. Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists.
All right. So in Greece, there's this place called Grecia, all right, which was home to the Hellenists, right? Which was the home, basically, it was the ghetto where niggas live. You know what I'm saying? With the barrio, you know what I'm saying? The reservation. You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? So this is where the Hellenists live. This is where the Jews, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, this is where they live under under the Greco-Roman Empire. Read.
Greeks and Grecians, however, ought to be distinguished.
All right. So there's a difference between Greeks and Grecians. Read.
Greeks are generally those of Hellenic race, and probably Salafi, but the word may be used to indicate non-Jews.
All right. So Greeks are those that are a non are of a Hellenistic race. So basically, they're like Asian. They're like you can be a Jew, but you can also be an Asian American, right? You can also be an African American, a Russian American. You know what I'm saying? You're just someone that is an occupant of the state of Greece, but you're not Grecian, right? All right. So, but we went into the definition of Helen in the definition in the actual Bible when it's used is used for Jews who made Greek their tongue and adopted their practices and principles. Exactly. Right. All right. So now let's get into. All right. So let me pull up ethnos real quick. Let me pull up that definition. Let me go to dictionary.com. Okay. Greek word ethnos. All right. So ethnos means a custom or a character. In Greek, is originally used by Aristotle. It referred to a man's character or personality, especially in its balance between passion and cause. Let me pull up the biblical meaning real quick. All right. So it means a character described in guiding beliefs, ideals, a character of community, a character of a nation, or a character of ideology. All right. So a Hellen is someone that is a Jew, right? Black, Hispanic, or Native American that adopted Greek as a practice and as their native tongue. Someone that is ethnos is someone that takes on the characteristics of an ideal of a nation. But both of these words are used as Gentile in the Bible. So now let's get an example of what ethnos is used as a Gentile. All right. Go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 32. When you got to go ahead and read it.
All right, this is Matthew chapter 6, verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
For after all these things do who?
The Gentiles seek.
So after all these things do those seek of the characters and they take on the characters and communities of the other nations, right? Keep reading.
For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things.
All right, so let me pull up the Strong's definition as well. All right, so for ethnos, it says a multitude, whether men or beasts, associated or living together, a company, a troop, a swarm, multitudes of individuals of the same nature or genus, the human family, a tribe, a nation, or group of people in the Old Testament, foreign nations not worshiping the true God, pagans or Gentiles, right? So this is in reference to the other nations. This word ethnos, all right. So let's read that scripture again.
Okay, this is Matthew chapter 6, verse 32. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
So after all of these things, do the other nations seek? All right, keep reading.
For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye need all these things.
I'm sorry. Let's scroll up. Start at verse 29.
This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 29. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 30. Wherefore, if the Most High so clothed the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye the little of faith?
O ye of little faith.
Okay. Verse 31. Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what or where with all shall we be clothed? Verse 32. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
So you worrying about like how you gonna live, how you gonna eat, you know what I'm saying? All these things, these are materialistic ideas. What we gonna be draped in, these are materialistic ideals, and these are ideals that the other nations worry about, talking about the Gentile nations. All right. So you shouldn't be worried about these things like the Gentile nations. All right. Let's get another example of the other nations, the word ethnos, when this is being used. Go to Matthew 10 and 5.
This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahweh shall send forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles.
Oh, let's start at boom, 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 boom. Here comes start at verse 1. And we gonna skip down to 5.
1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples,
So this is Christ, and Christ called unto him his 12 disciples.
he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
All right, so then it goes into the name of all the 12 disciples. Drop down to verse 5.
These 12 Yahweh shall send forth and commanded them, saying, these 12 Yahweh shall send forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles.
So go not into the way of the other nations. This is where the word ethnos is used. Read.
The way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans, if you do not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So, okay, so now what you got to understand is that the word Gentile is used interchangeably. Hand me that compact Bible dictionary. The water. Gentile. All right, here we go. All right, so Gentile. Gentile, it usually it means a non-Israelite people. All right. So it usually means a non-Israelite people, but it can be used for Israelites. Anytime you broke the law, statutes, and commandments, all right, you were kicked out of Israel, you were considered as a Gentile, or you were considered as the other nations, right? So in this case, it made a distinction, right? It made a distinction because it says, "Go not ye into the ways of the Gentiles, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the northern kingdom had been cut off. They were considered as the other nations, but Christ is like, these are still your people. You need to go and get them. But even though they're lost, they're not like the other nations because their inheritance is of Israel. So this is when Christ made a distinction of Gentiles amongst Gentiles, because all Gentiles ain't Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Because like even though Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are in the world, they still are family. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. Give me I'm gonna do one more example of Gentiles as far as ethnos, and then we're gonna do 3 examples of Gentiles using the word Helen. All right. Give me, matter of fact, in the same chapter, drop down to Matthew 10 and 17.
This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 17. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. Verse 18. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them in the Gentiles.
You understand? So here we are. So Christ said that you're going to be used as a testimony against the Gentiles because they're going to be offering you up to death. All right. So when they offer you up to death, the blood that's on their hands is going to be a testimony against the other nations. All right. Now let's get examples of Helen, the word Helen used interchangeably with the word Gentile. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 7, verse 35.
This is John chapter 7, verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go?
Matter of fact, start at verse 33.
Verse 33. John chapter 7, verse 33. Then said Yahweh unto them, yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Verse 34. Ye shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, hither ye cannot come. Verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
Now look at that, right? So he said, now will we go to the dispersed amongst the Gentiles to teach the Gentiles, right? So he's saying that the dispersed of Israel is amongst the other nations, right? And he's saying that they are Gentiles because they're not keeping their customs. And in this case, the word that's used is Helen. Jews that have adopted Greek practices and principles and adopted Greek as their national tongue. They ain't even speaking Hebrew no more. It's just like blacks, all they speak is English. You know what I'm saying? Hispanics, all they speak is Spanish. Native Americans, all they speak is English. They don't even know their native tongue. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, none of us speak Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? If an angel of the Lord walked up to you today and told you in Hebrew, come with me to seek your salvation, I'm here to save you, you wouldn't know what the hell this nigga saying. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be like, man, nigga, get away from me. He be like, Ak. You know what Ak mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, brother. You know You know what I'm saying? All right. Give me we're gonna do two more. Give me this is another one that has ethnos and Helen in the scripture. Give me Acts 14 and 1.
This is Acts chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in Latinum that they were both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude, both the Jews and also of the Greeks, believed.
Now, right here, you have the word Jews, right? Okay, so you have the Jews and the Greeks believe. Keep reading.
But the like verse 2, but the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and made their minds evil, affected against the brethren. Verse 3.
Now, no, stop right there. All right. So in this scripture, all right, the word Greek is Helen, right? And the word Gentile in this case is ethnos. All right. So with that understanding that Jews and also the Greeks that believe that were right there, those were the northern kingdom. Those were the children of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, where Christ was talking about. That was amongst the Grecians. Okay. And then when it says, but the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles. So the unbelieving Jews, they didn't believe in Christ, they stirred up the Greeks, all right, to get them on their side. Okay, so this is an instance where you have the word Greek. So if you're reading this and you don't know, you don't have like a Strong's Concordance, you would think, oh, it's the white boys. You know what I'm saying? It's Hercules in them. You know what I'm saying? But it's not talking about the white people. You know what I'm saying? It's actually talking about niggas. You know what I'm saying? The belief. They be like, see, it's Greeks, it's white people that believe in Jesus too. But it's actually talking about the Negroes, the Hispanics, and Native Americans that were amongst the Grecians. All right, let's do one more. All right, give me Acts 18 and 4.
Acts chapter 18, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persecuted
And persuaded
like the Jews. And
matter of fact, started verse 1.
It's Acts chapter 18, verse 1. After these things, Paul departed from
Athens
and came to Corinth and found a certain Jew named
Aquila,
born in Pontus, lately come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came into them. And because he was of the same crowd, he abided in them and wrote, for by their occupation they were tent makers. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. And when Silas and Timothy.
All right, stop right there. All right. So let me ask you a question. All right. According to the law, all right, is any heathen nation allowed into the synagogue? But right here it says in verse 4, and he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. So I mean, so white people was allowed in the synagogue, right? I mean, but it's saying right here, like Greeks are white people. Right. So in this case, the word Greek right here is Hellen. But you can see how easy it is for a Christian to get caught up in this. That's exactly what they would say. See, it's white people right here in a synagogue with the Jews. Christ loved everybody. Ball game. This is why it's important to have edification in linguistics. You can't just, it's good to know precepts, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, but you got to know the language. You know what I'm saying? Because that right there, if you don't dive into the origin of the word that's written, you're gonna fall every time. You're gonna get cut. So like you come into the school and a Christian walk up to you, because Christians love Paul. They love Paul. You know what I'm saying? Paul word got more standing than Christ's word. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to extract, because if you don't know the difference in the word in Gentile, or know to look up, or if you don't know to look up the word Greek, because Paul said there's neither Jew nor Greek. You know what I'm saying? See right there. There's neither Jew nor Greek. You know what I'm saying? Circumcised or uncircumcised. See, we all can be under the power of Christ. But why did he say Jew? Why didn't he just say Jew nor Greek? Why didn't he say Jew nor Greek, nor Edomite, nor Moab, nor Philistine? You know what I'm saying? Nor Ammon. It's because who he was talking to. The reason why he said neither Jew nor Greek is the same reason why he said that there were Jews and Greeks in the synagogue. They were Hellenists. They were of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You understand? All right. We'll go in depth over this more next week. We're going to stop right here. All right. And with that, we're going to say Imagium. Oh, and before we say the prayer, just a reminder, November 28th is the feast of dedication, High Hanukkah, where we'll be going over the story of the Maccabees. All right. So with that, we're going to say Sar. We're going to turn and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Balawakah, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawab, Hayah, Basamayim, Natalanawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawaknawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawaknawa, Wala'ah, Tabi'ainawa, Banasaya 1, the Ball, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahaptaparak, Wa'awalamyam, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face to front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sister, then of Israel. By Shabbat, Maji, Ra, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Shah, Bragatha. Yazmin Time, Sar, turn your face to sister, then of Israel. By Shabbat, Maji, Ra, Yahweh, Shema, Hashem, Yahweh, Shah. Yazmin Time, dismissed.